My loved chosen one, you've spent years questioning yourself, second-guessing every instinct, every gut feeling, every sudden discomfort that rose from somewhere deep inside you. They told you that you were overreacting, that you were too sensitive, that you imagined things that weren't there. And slowly, without even realizing it, you began to doubt the one voice that was never supposed to be silenced, your own. But what if I told you that what you called anxiety was actually your spirit trying to warn you? That what you called paranoia was your intuition sounding alarms long before your conscious mind could catch up? This isn't just a coincidence. This is spiritual design. You were given this inner radar for a reason. From the moment you were born, your intuition was installed in you like a sacred system of early warning. It was never meant to be doubted. It was meant to protect you, to guide you, to keep you 2 steps ahead of the enemy. And yet, life, trauma, manipulation, and spiritual attacks convinced you to silence it. They trained you to override it. They made you believe that following your instincts was dangerous, reckless, or even selfish. But the truth is, that was all part of the plan. Because as long as you doubted your inner knowing, you remained vulnerable, defenseless, easily controlled. And now, the time for that is over. This is your moment of awakening. The moment when you stop manipulating yourself and start trusting the signs that your spirit has been sending you all along. Your intuition is not a weakness. It is not a flaw. It is a divine weapon, tailor-made for you by the one who sent you here with a mission too important to fail. And starting today, we are going to talk about how to transform this silent inner knowledge into your most powerful shield and your sharpest sword. If this is already resonating deep within your soul, write in the comments right now, "I trust my intuition," because today we are reclaiming what has always been yours, and the universe is here to rescue you. Dear Chosen One, take advantage and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell. Get ready to strengthen your inner power of divine intuition even more. Let's go. There's something the enemy feared long before you even realized you had spiritual gifts. It wasn't your physical strength. It wasn't your words or your actions. It was your perception, your ability to sense danger before it reached you, to feel hidden intentions behind a smile, to notice shifts in energy that others dismissed as nothing. And because they couldn't turn off this internal radar, they spent years trying to convince you that it was broken. They made you doubt yourself at every turn, manipulating your reality, making you question your memories, twisting your emotions until you believed that your fear was irrational and your discernment was just anxiety. But deep down, you always knew. You just didn't know how to trust that knowing. Think back to how many times you felt something was off, but you stayed anyway. How many relationships you held on to, even when your body was screaming at you to let go. How many situations you walked into with a heavy heart, telling yourself you were being too dramatic. The truth is, you weren't being dramatic at all. Your intuition was sending distress signals the whole time, warning you, protecting you, but you were conditioned to override it, to choose logic over instinct, to believe other people's words over your own inner alarms. And each time you silenced that voice, you weakened your spiritual defenses, little by little. There's a reason the manipulative people in your life were so skilled at making you doubt yourself. They knew that as long as you trusted your intuition, they could never fully control you. Your intuition was the one thing they couldn't reach, so they attacked it indirectly, through gaslighting, through emotional confusion, through making you feel guilty for listening to your own spirit. They made your truth feel like a burden. They framed your sensitivity as instability. But now, the veil is lifting, and you're starting to see the pattern with clarity that can't be undone. You were never meant to walk blind through this life. From the very beginning, The divine equipped you with an internal guidance system far more accurate than any external advice or opinion. And every time you ignored it, life became more painful than it needed to be. But that wasn't failure. That was training. Every ignored signal, every wrong turn, every delayed exit from a toxic situation, it all built the muscle you're about to start using. Your spiritual reflexes are sharper now. Your discernment is stronger. And this time, when your intuition speaks, you'll listen. Let's be honest. You didn't just ignore your intuition by accident. You were emotionally groomed to do it. From childhood, from relationships, from authority figures who taught you that doubting yourself was the safer option. And because you craved love, approval, or just peace, you agreed. You silenced yourself to belong. You betrayed your own senses just to avoid conflict. But what you didn't realize was that every time you did that, you were letting the enemy advance one step closer to your energy, your boundaries, your mental clarity. This wasn't just emotional neglect. This was spiritual sabotage. The pain you feel now, that lingering regret, it's not a sign that you failed. It's a sign that your spirit is waking up. That part of you that once stayed silent is now demanding to be heard. And here's the truth. Most people won't tell you. Your intuition never left you. Even when you abandoned it, it stayed, watching, waiting, sending quiet signals, hoping you'd notice. And now, you're finally ready. Ready to respond, ready to act, ready to let that inner voice become the loudest one in the room. This is your turning point. The moment where you stop explaining your feelings away. The moment where you choose your own perception over external validation. The moment where you stop second-guessing and start moving with spiritual precision. This is the day you reclaim your discernment, because every time you trust your intuition, you reinforce your connection to the divine. Every time you act on it, you step further into alignment with your true path. And every time you ignore manipulation and follow your internal compass, you're wielding your secret weapon in ways the enemy never saw coming. It's time to be honest about how much you've lost by not trusting yourself. Opportunities that slipped away, friendships that drained you, relationships that broke you, decisions that left you questioning your own sanity. And yet, here you are, stronger than you realize, wiser than you give yourself credit for. Because despite all the manipulation, despite all the confusion, despite all the times you overrode your gut instinct just to keep the peace, your intuition kept you alive. It kept you from going deeper into darkness than you already did. And now, it's not just whispering to you anymore. It's demanding action. You've reached a spiritual threshold, a point where ignoring your intuition is no longer an option. The stakes are higher now. The energies coming against you are more subtle, more calculated. And the only way to stay ahead is to trust what you feel before you have logical evidence. Because by the time the evidence appears, the damage is already done. That's how the enemy operates, always making you doubt yourself long enough to get close enough to strike. But not this time, not anymore. Your spirit knows better. And now, so does your mind. You're not crazy for walking away from people who seemed nice. You're not paranoid for feeling uneasy around someone who never actually wronged you, at least not in ways others could see. You're not overreacting when your body tenses up in certain places or around certain people. That's your spiritual radar doing exactly what it was designed to do, warning you, guiding you, protecting you from energies and intentions that are not in alignment with your path. And every time you listen, you strengthen your own field of protection. The people who made you doubt your intuition the most were often the ones who feared what would happen if you actually trusted it, because they knew that if you stopped questioning yourself, you'd start questioning them. You'd start seeing through the lies. You'd start noticing the inconsistencies, the energy shifts, the emotional manipulation. You'd start recognizing when love wasn't love, when loyalty was actually control, when friendship was just access to your light. And the truth is, you already knew all along. You just weren't ready to admit it. But here's the thing about awakening. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once your intuition fully activates, you start noticing patterns everywhere. In conversations, in behaviors, in subtle energy exchanges. You catch the hesitation behind the compliment. You feel the resentment hidden beneath the smile. You sense the jealousy in words wrapped as concern. And where you used to give people the benefit of the doubt, now you give yourself the benefit of belief. Because doubting yourself was never an act of humility. It was a learned survival mechanism that no longer serves you. The enemy's biggest fear was never your strength, your appearance, or even your knowledge. It was your alignment, your connection to your own internal guidance system. Because when a chosen one operates from intuition, they become almost impossible to trap. You start moving differently, speaking less, observing more, acting decisively. And every move you make from that place of spiritual discernment sends a clear message to the energies that once played with your mind. Access denied, manipulation blocked, confusion dismantled. And this shift, it doesn't just protect you from future attacks. It rewrites your entire energetic signature. People feel the difference in you without knowing why. The ones with good intentions feel safe in your presence. The ones with hidden agendas feel exposed, uncomfortable, unsettled. That's how you know your intuition is fully online. It begins to filter your life for you. It closes doors you were too afraid to close. It reveals truths you weren't ready to face. And most importantly, it starts moving you toward the kind of peace that doesn't need to be earned, only honored. What's happening inside you now is more than healing. It's activation. This is the stage where your intuition stops being a passive warning system and becomes an active spiritual weapon. You don't just sense danger, you anticipate it. You don't just feel the shifts, you act on them. You don't wait for confirmation from the outside world. You move when your spirit says move. You speak when your soul says speak. And when your intuition tells you to leave, you don't hesitate anymore. You trust that unseen guidance like your life depends on it. Because spiritually, it does. This new level of discernment changes everything. It changes how you choose your relationships. It changes how you read people's energy in the first 5 seconds of interaction. It changes how you protect your peace without apology. Because you've learned, the ones who get upset when you set boundaries were the ones benefiting from your lack of them. Now, you see it all. The patterns, the manipulations, the subtle energy games people play to get access to your light. And instead of questioning yourself, you pause, you breathe, and you let your intuition speak louder than anyone's opinion. There's something sacred about this shift. It's the return of your spiritual authority. The moment you realize that your soul has always known the way, even when your mind was lost in confusion. You stop making decisions out of fear of being alone. You stop entertaining people just to fill the silence. You stop justifying red flags because of potential you see in others. Your new standard becomes this: if my spirit feels unsettled, I don't negotiate. I don't explain. I don't wait for proof. I honor the discomfort as a divine message, and I act accordingly. And the beauty of this transformation is that it doesn't make you cold. It makes you clear. You don't become bitter. You become better at discerning what's real and what's distraction. You don't isolate out of fear. You become selective out of wisdom. You're not cutting people off for drama. You're cutting off access to your energy for preservation. This isn't revenge. This isn't ego. This is spiritual self-respect. And for the first time in your life, you're realizing how much power there is in simply saying, I don't need to explain my no. As this clarity grows inside you, you'll notice that even your environment starts to shift. People who used to drain you will start falling away naturally. Invitations that once excited you will now feel heavy in your spirit. Conversations that once entertained you will now feel hollow. That's how you know your frequency is changing. Your intuition is not just guiding your choices, it's reorganizing your entire energetic field to align with your purpose, your peace, and your power. This energetic field surrounding you is not just a metaphor or a vague spiritual concept. It's a living, breathing extension of your inner state, an invisible layer that absorbs, filters, and reflects the energy of every space you enter and every person you encounter. For most of your life, this field operated on autopilot, reacting to whatever environment you were in. But now that your intuition is fully awakening, this field is shifting from reactive to selective. It's no longer letting everything and everyone in. It's starting to shield, to filter, to reject energies that don't align with where your soul is going next. You'll start to notice that people who once seemed magnetic now feel energetically heavy. Places that used to feel exciting now create a subtle pressure in your chest. Even random conversations with strangers will leave you feeling either energized or completely drained, with no logical explanation. That's because your energetic field is recalibrating. It's becoming more intelligent, more discerning, more responsive to your soul's new frequency. This isn't hypersensitivity. This is spiritual refinement. Your body, your mind, and your aura are now working together to protect what you've fought so hard to rebuild. And as this energetic field strengthens, it will begin to communicate for you before you even speak. People will feel your boundaries without you having to announce them. Hidden agendas will collapse before they reach you. Invitations that aren't meant for your growth will dissolve before they manifest. Your presence alone will start shifting the atmosphere around you, either drawing in what's aligned or pushing away what's not. This is what happens when your inner clarity meets your outer energy. Your intuition speaks first, and your energetic field enforces the rest. And with every decision you make from this new place of trust in yourself, you're sending a message to the universe. I'm ready for more alignment, more truth, more divine connections, more clarity. You're proving to yourself that you don't need external validation to move with certainty, that your inner compass works, that your perception is accurate, that your feelings are sacred data, not emotional noise to be silenced. And the more you trust it, the stronger it becomes. When you start seeing your feelings as sacred data, everything shifts. You no longer dismiss emotional discomfort as weakness. You stop labeling sadness, frustration, or even anger as problems to be fixed. Instead, you begin to read each feeling like a spiritual message, a coded transmission from your inner guidance system. Anxiety isn't just anxiety anymore. It becomes a signal that something around you isn't safe for your energy. Restlessness isn't just restlessness. It's your soul trying to push you toward change. Even joy and peace become more than emotions. They become confirmations that you're aligned with the right path. This shift in perception teaches you to slow down and listen more deeply. Instead of rushing to get over your feelings, you begin to sit with them, to ask, what is this emotion here to teach me? What is it showing me that logic can't? Your feelings become the language your intuition uses when words fail. They're the early warning system that alerts you to people whose energy feels off, to environments that carry unseen tension, to decisions that look good on paper but feel wrong in your gut. By honoring your feelings as data, not distractions, you unlock a level of clarity and self-protection that intellect alone could never provide. And the more you respond to your feelings with respect, the sharper your discernment becomes. You'll start noticing how certain people trigger emotional responses that feel disproportionate, and that's often your body's way of signaling spiritual misalignment. You'll recognize that recurring emotional patterns are pointing to unresolved lessons or boundaries that still need to be reinforced. Your feelings will start working for you, not against you, guiding your steps, shaping your choices, and keeping you rooted in your truth. This is how emotional intelligence becomes spiritual intelligence. And from this place of awareness, your intuition operates at full capacity. This is how spiritual warfare shifts in your favor. Not because the attacks stop, but because you become unshakable in your response to them. You start seeing setups before they happen. You start walking away before the trap closes. You start speaking truth into spaces where deception once lived. You're no longer playing defense. You're moving with strategy, with foresight, with spiritual intelligence. And the people, energies, and forces that once confused you now find themselves powerless in your presence. Because you finally remembered who you are, and you're not ignoring your own voice ever again. From this point forward, you won't move the same way you used to. You're no longer explaining yourself to people who were never truly listening. You're no longer shrinking your feelings just to keep the peace. Every decision you make now, every step, every conversation, runs through an invisible filter. Your intuition. If something feels wrong, if the energy doesn't sit right, if your body reacts with even the slightest tension, you honor it. No doubt, no delay, no internal negotiations. And the more you do this, the more the universe will align paths that protect you from situations that used to drain your soul. What once felt like a struggle will now flow naturally, because your frequency has shifted, and with it, your entire reality will start to change. The same people who once played games with your perception will now feel the discomfort of no longer having emotional access to you. They'll try the same tactics, the same scripts, the same subtle manipulations. But what's changed is you. Now, before they even finish their first excuse, you'll already feel the energy behind it. And instead of explaining, defending, or engaging in emotional loops, you'll simply walk away. No anger, no resentment, just a quiet, unshakable knowing that your season of self-doubt is over. You have nothing left to prove, not to them, and not to yourself. This is spiritual freedom, the ability to feel the trap before it closes, to sense the spirit behind the words, to read the vibration behind the smile, and more importantly, the freedom to act, to say no, to leave, to change course halfway through just because something in your soul whispered, "Go." People may not understand it. They may call you distant, cold, or even arrogant, but what they think will no longer have the power to disconnect you from yourself. Because now you know, your intuition is your covenant with heaven, a divine protection code that only those who carry truly understand. And when you start living like this, something even more beautiful happens. Your energy begins to protect you automatically. Situations that once pulled you in will lose their appeal. People who once confused you will reveal themselves before they get too close. The universe will begin sending you connections that resonate with this new frequency of clarity, truth, and respect. And the best part? You'll look back and realize every single pain you went through was training for this exact moment. The moment you stopped chasing approval and started walking in alignment with your own spiritual authority. There may still be moments of hesitation, moments when the old fear returns, the temptation to silence your inner voice just to avoid conflict, to not lose someone, to not seem too harsh. But even when that fear comes, you will choose differently now. Because you know the cost of ignoring your intuition, you have paid that price before, and you promised yourself, never again. From now on, every step you take is a prayer. Every decision you make is an affirmation. I trust myself, I trust my feelings, and I trust the divine source that gave me this sensitivity. Toot? So, if this message has awakened something within you, if you feel your intuition stirring on a level you have never felt before, write in the comments right now the phrase, "My intuition is my shield." And remember, this is not the end of your battle, but this is the end of your blindness. From this point on, you walk with your spiritual eyes wide open. My dear chosen one, I still have a special request to help us grow the channel. I would like you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and continue walking with us with God's blessing. You are not alone. You are becoming, and your development is unstoppable. I want to thank everyone who supports us through Buy Me a Coffee. Your support helps us improve our videos every day and always offer the best content. If you would like to support us, the link is in the first pinned comment. Continue this moment of spiritual elevation and watch the recommended video that is appearing on the screen now, or follow the playlist of the Secrets of the Chosen Ones. Just click on the screen and expand your essence even further. Thank you very much for being here and for being part of this community. See you in the next video.